Good evening, everyone. Today I am going to study about the measures of dispersion. Dispersion means how the value is scattered from the particular place. How dispersion means change. We can call it scatter. कसं ते पसरले म्हणजे for example, in last lectures we saw the central tendency. Under the central tendency, what we saw central places. Under the measure of central tendency, we study mean, median, and mode. These are called mean, median, mode. These are called the central tendency. Means center place of the given data. In the data, center place we studied, we find under the technique, under the measures of central tendency, mean, median, mode. But whatever we got the central tendency, that place, how far it is from the separate data, separate values. Such whatever we studied under dispersion, that is how it is far away from the average. Means dispersion means how the far away from the average. For example, take a three batsman scores. There are three batsmen are there. A and B and C. A scored 100 like that, and in first match he scored 100 run, and he scored second match 100 score, and in third match he scored 100. Overall same simultaneously like that. B batsman scored 95, 100 and 105, and C scored 1, 2 and 297. Total of these batsmen same are there. Same batsman scored, but if we find the mean from these batsmen, mean how will find the 300 divided 3. Mean we got 100. The three batsmen have the mean has same. A has also 100, B has also 100, and C has also 100. But here, from every match, it is the average. Mean means average. How he is far from the every match. See, these are the same. There is no any dispersion म्हणू शकतो आपण, किंवा एक अंतर चेंज म्हणू शकतो, किंवा स्कॅटर म्हणू शकतोय. देर इज नो एनी स्कॅटर, नो एनी चेंज. But here 95 from the 100 from the 95, 100 from the 100, and 100 from the 100 means less difference it is. Less difference means less dispersion म्हणू शकतो आपण. And C has, it is more it is, and 297 from the 100 and 297 it is also more difference. See here, means this is the more difference किंवा हायेस्ट डिफरन्स म्हणू शकतोय, हायेस्ट डिस्पर्शन म्हणू शकतोय. म्हणजे प्रत्येकाचं व्हॅल्यू पासून, एव्हरेज पासून प्रत्येक व्हॅल्यू किती लांब आहे, किती स्कॅटर्ड आहे. म्हणजे ही इज द लेस स्कॅटर्ड और लो झिरो स्कॅटर म्हणू शकतोय. अँड बी हॅज द लेस स्कॅटर and C has the more scatter. Only we going to study about the how scatter means कुठलं चांगलं. आता झिरो झालं, लेस झालं, मोर झालं. कधी पण लक्षात ठेवा, लेस स्कॅटर कुठलं असतंय, that is called reasonable. How far, if we find the average is how much far from the average, every data is how much far from the average. If we find there is B has no, means all are same, it is actually it is near to the average. And second one is less scatter म्हणू शकतोय, less reliable म्हणू शकतोय. And C1 has the more, means more far from the average. All match, all score has the from the average C has the more scattered. आता मोर स्कॅटर म्हणू शकतोय, मोर चेंजेस इज देअर म्हणू शकतोय, ह्या पद्धतीने म्हणू शकतोय. पण हिअर by seeing all this, he who has the less scattered, that is called more reliable. Less scattered, who has the less scattered, that is called more reliable than the C and B. There are two types of absolute measures and relative measures. Absolute measures are expressed in unit if their absolute measures are not useful for the comparing the two data. If we want to compare the data, then we have to use relative measures. Under the relative measures, we use the data for comparing only. It may be in percentage, it may be in ratio, that like that. In that absolute measures, there are range is there, quartile deviation is there, mean deviation is there, standard deviation is there, and variance is there. Means like that, in under absolute measure, range is there. Range is relative measures is called coefficient of range. Range is relative coefficient, we call it. Quartile deviation is relative, is called coefficient of quartile deviation, and mean deviation is comes under absolute measure. Mean deviation is expressed in unit wise. Mean deviation is expressed in relative. If relative, that is called coefficient of mean deviation. Like that, standard deviation's corresponding relative is called coefficient of standard deviation. Like that, variance, under the variance we express variance's corresponding relative measures is called coefficient of variation. These are all the absolute measures and relative measures. Separately, by explaining with examples, we'll explain in different videos. Okay, thank you.